Why do most YouTube accounts never even get 1,000 views? Well, it's all pretty much for the same reason. A lot of YouTube accounts, they simply produce content that they like. They're not necessarily thinking about the audience. And so many people get hyper fixated on what the algorithm wants. They don't realize the algorithm changes all the time because it's literally the viewing habits of the people that are using YouTube as a platform. So when you worry about the algorithm, you'll hear a lot of people say, well, the algorithm just doesn't like me on YouTube. It's hiding my accounts. I'm being shadow banned. It's hiding my videos. The algorithm's not serving me to people. I can explain to you real easy what the algorithm serves, and it's what serves the algorithm. So if your content is highly engaged, meaning people are watching a lot of your content, watching a long duration of your videos, is what I mean, the algorithm's always going to serve your content, unless you're doing something that highly violates the YouTube terms of service, which could be something violent, something dangerous, something that's showing at-risk activity. But for the most part, the content that gets served by the algorithm is the content that people watch in big numbers, and they watch a large portion of it. If you're making a long-form video and you don't have a minimum of, say, 20% retention rate, nobody's watching that. It's just not going to happen. And there's a variety of reasons for that. Could be that you start too slow. But the vast majority of what I see, most creators are making content that's more for themselves and more for their own ego, rather than helping a problem, serving the audience, speaking to an expertise that enough people are interested in. I mean, if you make a basket weaving channel, how many people are actually going to watch versus a Mr. Beast entertainment channel, right? It all depends on what the goals are. Now, most people that actually make money on YouTube, they're doing it because they have an offer to sell somebody. So you might be really good at a skill, and you might want to sell an online course or a PDF. You could do that with your channel. But it's bizarre. You'll see people get really in these patterns on YouTube. They become very self-fixated. They're constantly putting their logo on the screen. The titles are all wrong because they're very general titles. There's really no search engine optimization on the titles. You might even hear people argue that you don't need SEO anymore because of AI. I mean, where do you think AI pulls the data from, especially if you're not giving any direct prompts? I mean, it's the vast majority is still dependent on search engine optimization. But the main barrier to people getting 1,000 views or 1,000 subscribers on YouTube is they're simply not talking about something or presenting something that's relatable enough or relevant enough to enough people. If you're talking about obscure things, and if you're not being really direct about what you're talking about in the titles and the descriptions and in the actual content when you're speaking about something, yeah, the algorithm's not going to share you with anybody. The algorithm's only going to share content that's engaging, that people watch a large portion of. If you take a long time to get started on your videos, if you have a long intro, that one's real bad. You have a long intro, like, who are you making that for? Is that for your ego or is that for the audience? Usually it's for the ego. But I've been doing this since 2016, and it's always changing. YouTube's completely different than day one when I started, man. It's completely different. We used to be able to make a 1-minute video and you could pop, get like 60,000 views. This is before shorts. We're talking 2017. And, you know, there was less players in the game too. You're seeing more saturation in YouTube, but nobody should take that as a warning not to be involved or active. But I don't know. Sorry, I'm trying to mess with the chat here. I guess no one's chatting with me, but that's fine. Thumbnails is another thing that could be holding back some accounts. If you try to do the templated approach, You make all your thumbnails look the same. Sometimes that could hold you back. The most popular YouTubers are the ones who piss people off. What do I actually want to chat about? I don't know. Anything, I guess. But yeah, the most popular YouTubers are the people who piss people off. Well, let's expand on that. What are they actually doing? They're polarizing the audience. And that's not new. What do we know about media? Back in the 1990s, the number one people on radio were both ultra-conservative and ultra-liberal. You had Howard Stern on one end on FM, and you had Rush Limbaugh on AM. And what they did is they polarized their audience, meaning they had one half loved them, one half hated them, because they made very divisive statements that outraged 50% of their listening audience and empowered or entertained the other 50%. So yeah, if you're being more polarizing in your views, of course you're going to do well on YouTube. You see this with political channels. I mean, I'm not sure of any conservatives that are on YouTube anymore. Most of those guys have gone to Rumble. But the Young Turks is a good example. I did a video on my channel about the Young Turks, how they dominate. They were doing better than CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. And it's just basically a group of people that started that channel, right? People use streaming news and other outlets to segregate from one another, but it's calmed down lately, unless you're on Insta. That's interesting. You're right about that, because there's not a whole unified source for news anymore, and people don't trust mainstream news. They often will just go to the platforms that validate their already preconceived opinions about different issues. That's why you see like InfoWars, what else, Newsmax, and the Young Turks, like I just said. I mean, most people, they don't deal with CNN anymore. They don't deal with MSNBC, Fox News even. Fox News isn't conservative enough for some people. So they'll just go find the platforms that validate the opinions they already hold. And that's dangerous. That's really dangerous, because you never learn anything if you don't get a perspective outside of your own perspective. You can learn a lot from people that disagree with you. And it's important to keep people around you that disagree with you. Otherwise, it's an echo chamber, and you're never going to get any better if you're in an echo chamber. And then you gotta wonder a lot of times, if you have a lot of yes men around you, if people are just telling you what you want to hear, it might actually set you up for a big mistake. I think we've seen that with quite a few movements in the past, and it's really changed everything. It's funny. What's this say? News is a waste of time. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I haven't watched the news since about 2022. I stopped watching it then, and it's been great, actually. It's a much more peaceful life when you're not checking in on the news all the time. That helps. How many people watching right now actually have a YouTube channel? I'm curious. What's that say? That's why he got married. What does that mean? So, one of the big misconceptions about YouTube and the creator economy is that if you have a successful YouTube channel, basically the company is just going to send you a check every month that could be a full-time income. I've worked on several, and continue to work on several, YouTube channels that probably bring in about $3,500 a month off of ads, but the vast majority of money that they're making is really off of selling products, selling their own products. I've worked with golf guys that sell different online courses about how to do golf techniques, and that guy was bringing in like $70,000 a month just selling videos about golf, and they weren't even expensive videos. They were about $20 per training. You get enough people paying $20, you get them on recurring billing too, paying $20 a month, and all of a sudden that really adds up. That's how you really make money with YouTube. If you're constantly trying to get brand deals and make money off the ads, it can work. You can make about $3,500 with it, and that's about if you're getting 250,000 views a month, You get about $3,500 off the ads. I hear that fluctuates though. Just most of the people I work with, they don't really care about the ads. Several of the channels aren't even monetized. So what else holds people back from 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 views? Sometimes they'll make a variety of different content on the same channel. Now let's say you start a channel that's all about fitness, but then all of a sudden you go on a camping trip and you put that on the same channel, and then you're going on a trip to, say, Florida, and then after that you're working on your car, so you put your car tutorial on your YouTube channel. It's a little confusing to the algorithm, because the algorithm will build a metadata profile on the people that often and most often engage with your content. But if you're making content in so many different niches like that, it can just confuse the algorithm, that's all. Can YouTube cover for one person's salary? And can it cover for a person with a family? It can, definitely can. It's not an overnight thing though. So basically, my whole career has been YouTube since 2016. And actually, when I started on YouTube with a company, promoting a company on their YouTube, I didn't know what I was doing, and they knew I didn't know what I was doing. We'd be lucky if we got 300 views in a month, but what you're asking about is salary. So before YouTube, I worked in logistics. I made about $20 a month. I'm sorry, not $20 a month, $20 an hour. And that was 2016. And when I moved on to the company and got out of logistics to work on YouTube full time, I was making $17 an hour. So I took a $3 an hour pay cut, and that was a little bit humbling for my ego. And I didn't even know if I was going to be successful with YouTube, so there was a lot of nerves in the first year, how to make this work, how to be successful. The business owner I was working for, one time he stood behind me, had his arms crossed, and I turned around and I said, "Hey, what's up?" And he said, "I just don't know how much this YouTube's going to work for us." So well, I didn't say anything to him, but I was like, Jesus, like, this is my whole career, bro. Like, you don't know how this is going to work for us. So I got really dedicated to becoming good at YouTube, becoming effective, bringing some ROI, some return on investment for my employers. And at this point, that company generates about 80% of its revenue from YouTube offers, not from YouTube ads, from people learning about the product on YouTube. So that was scary, but sorry, smartwatch is talking to me right now. It was scary because I had predictable income with the warehouse, predictable income driving a forklift. With YouTube, it was very unpredictable. We kept losing channels, we kept getting flagged. So I got really good at writing appeals, getting our channels back. That hasn't been much of a problem anymore on YouTube, but for the first 4 years, constantly getting flagged. There's usually spam flags. If you promote your website too much on YouTube, you can end up getting that spam flag. It doesn't happen as much anymore though. But yeah, it was a big leap. So if you're thinking about going into YouTube full-time or any type of digital marketing, I would say do it part-time on the side, unless you can find a company willing to invest in your services full-time. Then you can learn on the job. That's kind of what I did. And that's, I got hired to run a Facebook account, basically. And Facebook started to dry up. We just were getting accounts that seemed like bot accounts and spam accounts, so we got a little bit less focused on Facebook and started doing YouTube more. And YouTube picked up really quick. It took probably about 6 months of constant effort. And that's what you'll hear a lot of people say too. Now, you'll hear all these gurus, oh, you need to upload a long form once a week. None of that matters. It's all about the quality, especially in the age of AI, where people can upload AI slop every day. The quantity doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. It's all about the quality. Anyone could watch any litany of videos about any subject around the clock. What they can't do is watch the video that you make about that subject around the clock. Especially if you're putting your own authentic spin on it, your own unique voice. That's the real value in an AI playing field of YouTube is, can you be authentically human? Because nobody has my experience with YouTube, not my exact experience. And if I can inspire other people to get out of jobs they don't like and find a fruitful, fulfilling career doing something they're passionate about and helping other people, that's what it's all about for me. Yeah. But, you know, when you first start out, it'll be scary. Definitely be scary. But you gotta roll the dice sometimes, though. I moved to Phoenix. Wasn't from here. Yeah, if you want to sub, that's fine. Doesn't matter if you subscribe anyway. If you watch enough of my content, YouTube's gonna send you the content anyway. That's the biggest misconception too. Like, I know I titled this video, this interaction, why most people don't get to 1,000 subscribers. I wouldn't be focused on getting to 1,000 subscribers if I were a YouTube creator. I'd get focused on making $1,000. If you can make $1,000 before you get to 1,000 subs, that's hustle. That's grinding. You don't really need the subscribers. Everyone thinks that their video won't get shown if they don't have the right amount of subscribers. None of that's factual. I mean, that might sell online courses for people because they sound like a YouTube sage. That's not the way it works, though. Anyone who's actually involved in it, they understand that's not how it works. So I wouldn't be fixated on that. But I know most people are fixated on those vanity metrics. So that's why I titled this video that. But you could still make $1,000 with 500 subscribers. You can make $1,000 with 250 subscribers. Easy, especially if you got a good offer. And what I mean by a good offer is a solid method that someone can click a link and then do business with you. Can't make it difficult. I have other things on my mind, but the YouTube question was purely out of curiosity. Yeah. Well, it's always on my mind. My full-time job. Live, breathe, sleep, and spit YouTube. So, but there's also opportunities on Instagram. It's just a different opportunity. And a lot of that manifests in the fact that people are in just different mind frames when they're on YouTube versus Instagram. Because Instagram's a feed, that's kind of like the doom scrolling mentality. But with YouTube, I feel like it's more intention based. And people are looking for something. They're looking for a piece of content that they're going to sit down with and digest a little longer than a reel or a short form. I mean, you could build a lot of your vanity metrics with short form on YouTube, with shorts. But in terms of client acquisition, I don't think shorts is the best strategy to try to make money with YouTube. Meaning, like, there's just so much that you can put into a 3-minute video on shorts. Then you could break up your longer forms into shorts and all that, and that's fine. I just don't think it's fruitful if you're trying to make money with it. Just because most people that are watching shorts are going to just be there for a brief time. They won't be there for that very long. Yeah. Well, we're down to one viewer. I got to head back into the office, so thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a good day.